Rockeyez would like to welcome Fang, Lord of Trident. Hey man, what's up?
How's it going?
Very good, very good. Tell me a little bit about the band. I know you started in, I think, 2008. Give me a little background.
Well, 2008 was when we actually reformed. We've been together since the dawn of time, or at least I have. I've been essentially searching the globe, for the best metal musicians out there, the best immortal warriors, and that journey has taken me all across the globe. From Japan to Rome to all different areas, and we were very active. We were probably the number one band back in the Middle Ages. In fact, our 1342 European tour was probably one of our most well attended tours. But unfortunately, we had a really bad publicist at the time, and he had this idea. He's like, hey, let's throw in a free rat with every ticket purchase. And of course, we didn't know about the whole plague thing at the time, and so there was a media backlash, and it was just, it was terrible. So we decided, hey, we got to let this thing cool off. So we went underground for about 750 years or so, and then in 2008 we got back together and reformed and came out with our first album, which is a question a lot of people ask us. Well, hey, if you've been around since the dawn of time, why haven't I heard of you before then? Well, we were just kind of letting the whole Black Plague thing blow over. And thankfully, if you look at a bunch of the history books, it doesn't really mention any of that snafu that happened with our tour. However, unfortunately for us, a lot of the diehard fans we were playing, in the Colosseums of the time, are now just dead fans, and so we're kind of essentially starting from scratch again, hitting the road and working our way back up to re-becoming the biggest band in the world.
Cool. Now, how'd you come up with your stage concept and stuff like that?
Well, a lot of that is really just what we wear every day. I mean, that's our battle armor. When we're going into battle, obviously we're not going to go in a jeans and t-shirt. And we're one of those bands that we could be attacked and assassinated at any time. There's many people out there that are trying to harness our metal power for good or evil, or mostly evil, I'd say. But so we can't take that lightly. We can't just go on the stage wearing an Iron Maiden t-shirt or whatnot. We have to make sure that we are protected 24/7, because you never know when an assassin is going to be up in the rafters, shooting an arrow from the light truss or whatever. So we eat, sleep, and perform in that armor pretty much 24/7. The only time that we take it off essentially is down when we're in our practice space, and we've got the vault door sealed, and we know we're pretty much protected. So
cool. Now next year you're coming out with a new CD, Frost Burns, next year in 2015. But you had Plan of Attack, you had Chains of Fire. How much different is Frost Burns going to be compared to them other ones?
Well, the first two albums were recorded and produced primarily by us. So we were very zealous of the recording and the mixing process. We didn't really trust any human ear to be able to actually do it correctly. So we did that all ourselves. And then in 2013, when we did Plan of Attack, we hooked up with two mortal producers, and this is the first time we'd ever had mortal producers on a record, or actually even in our practice space. We were concerned that the great pressures from where we practice. See, we had to move 13 miles beneath the Earth's crust because we keep causing earthquakes when we break strings and stuff like that, and it was just again, our lawyers want us to apologize to Japan. We had no idea that was going to happen, so with the tsunami and everything. So anyway, we moved down into this place for all you geology nerds called the Mohorovic Discontinuity. It's about 13 miles beneath the Earth's crust, a very cavernous region. And we were concerned that if we brought someone down there, that the pressures, the immense pressures and the heat would just essentially cause them to crumple and die. But I got to tell you, our two producers that we worked with for Plan of Attack, Doug Olson and Martin Atkins, they got in there and they were just fine, and they didn't even say a word. They got off of the elevator. It's about a 1-hour elevator ride down that far, and they got out of the elevator. They grabbed the first axe they saw off the wall, and man, we had a good old-fashioned knife fight. Oh, it was refreshing. We knew those were the right guys for us. when that happened. And Doug, Doug is the primary engineer on that album, and he's worked with Butch Vig on. He was with Butch Vig on Nirvana's Nevermind album. He's worked with the Smashing Pumpkins, Cheap Trick, all sorts of like bands that everyone's heard of. And then of course Martin Atkins is big in the industrial metal sort of area. He's worked. He was the drummer for Nine Inch Nails for a spell, and he's worked with drummed for Killing Joke and Pigface and all that sort of stuff. So that was sort of when the production of our albums got, even crazier, even better when we brought those guys in, and that was for Plan of Attack. The Plan of Attack was an EP, and so it was shorter, and it was sort of a thing where we were trying these guys out and making sure this is right for us, and it really did click. And so for Frostburn, for the next album, we brought back the same team, same producers and engineers and such like that. But this time we did it even bigger. We're like, okay, we're dipping our feet in the water and perhaps in the magma, the molten rock here with Plan of Attack. We're seeing what happens, and now we know that this is a good fit. And so we just went all out on Frostburn. And I gotta say, we have almost the mastering almost done, and I've heard, so we're in the very, very final stages. This is absolutely the best album we have ever done, hands down, 100%. If anybody says anything other than that, they're completely wrong, because this album is going to blow some minds. It's already been banned in 36 countries by the UN, and Germany has feared riots because of shortages of it. So, so we're very excited.
Cool. Now, a lot of concept bands and stuff like that, they got the concept, but they really don't have the music to back it. Yet you guys do, because I listened to the stuff this morning, and it's amazing. What can you say is, do you really need the concept when you got the music to back you?
Well, so here's here's the thing. I've seen a lot of those bands that they try to do something to cover up something on the stage show to cover up for their music. But for us, first and foremost, the music, of course, has always come first and will always come first. But at the same time, I have gone out to a billion shows over the many immortal years that I have under my belt. And I got to tell you that, I've seen so many bands and so many shows just get up there, jeans and T-shirts, staring down at their shoes, playing their music, and it's boring, Mm-hmm. It's just plain boring. And when I go out to an event, to a show, I want to be shown something. I want to experience something with the band, and so I really enjoy seeing a band that can deliver musically and also deliver a fun show. And to speak to your point of like, are these sort of theatrics needed, and for us, we have guitars that we light on fire and microphones that we light on fire, and we have a chain whip that we light on fire. There's a lot of stuff we light on fire, essentially. And so I look at it this way. For you and for me, metal, right? We enjoy metal. We understand metal. We understand that there are many different types of metal, and that there are many different styles. And this style may be closer to hard rock. This style may be more abrasive to your average Joe. Right. A and B and all that sort of stuff. But when Joe Sixpack out there, hears the word metal, what does he think of? He thinks of, angry guys, long hair, leather jackets, pointy guitars, and screaming about how they hate that their dad never went to their art shows. Right. And that's what they think about. And they don't understand that there's 80s heavy metal, there's black metal, there's, hair metal, glam metal. I mean, there's all sorts of metal that, if you played this for them, they might actually be into. They might actually enjoy it, and they might not categorize that as metal. They might say, "Oh, no, wait, that's hard rock. I thought that was hard rock. That's metal? Oh, okay." And so what we've found is that, we have our posters up all around where we're playing, and we have people who would not normally ever think about going out to a heavy metal show. Right. But they see these posters, and they say, "Wow, look at those guys probably put on one hell of a good show." So I'm going to go out just to see, hey, yeah, I'll pay for the $5-7 to go out and see what they're going to do. I like the music, don't like the music. Well, it's more for me for the show aspect than the music. And then they come out and they see the show, they hear the music, and 99.9% of the time they're like, wow, that I didn't realize that was classified as metal. Some of the best compliments we've ever got is people that have said, I came out to the show because I saw the poster and I saw what you guys were doing, and I wanted to see the show and just kind of see what was going on. And then I realized that this stuff is classified as metal, and then later they'd say, oh, and I started listening to Iron Maiden and I really like it, and I think I'm into heavy metal. And you're like, yes, right. There's another converted, perfect. There we are.
Right.
We're being the evangelical, metal preachers out there. So
cool. Now, living that far into the earth, underground and stuff like that, what's the plan of attack for like a female fan?
I see what you did there. Oh, it's difficult. There are many layers of, protective suits involved on the way down, but, it's...
But how about on the way up?
There's not usually a way up. Once they're down, they're So, yes, I don't want to give away all my trade secrets, but, it's they tend to stick around for quite some time.
Right. How much family support do you got here from, I guess, whoever, your family?
Oh, well, my barbarian parents are very, very appreciative and stuff like that. I was actually born out of a volcano at the beginning of time, and I was adopted by a wonderful barbarian family. A lot of music, traditional barbarian music in that family. So, there's I learned very early on the battle cries and the traditional screams of my barbarian clan, and so that sort of crafted a bit of my singing style. But yes, they love it. They say, hey, you're out roaming the land, pillaging, stealing women, stealing money. They're like, I couldn't be prouder,
cool.
Essentially. So
cool. Do you feel you need a label anymore to put out your own music?
No, absolutely not. That being said, we are signed. We did just get signed to a label in Germany, and I think there are certain markets and certain subgenres, heavy metal being one of those subgenres, where it is useful, depending on the market that you're in, to actually have a label, because we've sold pretty well in Germany and Europe for these previous albums, and then this next album, it's nice that we actually have sort of boots on the ground. We have somebody local who can say to this record store, to that record store, you want to carry these guys, and has sort of a track record with this label to do that. But in general, for the general question of any band out there, Joe Schmo and the Awesomes, we'll say, do they need a label? No, absolutely not. Not anymore. It's so easy to obtain music nowadays using the internet and computers and such like that, that you really don't, and it's a blessing and a curse at the same time. You can have your music reach people that you never thought that you would reach. For instance, we after the second album came out, Chains on Fire, we had people in Russia torrenting it, like downloading it, actively and sharing it with their friends. And I was able to sort of track where they were from the, IP addresses and so, just in this tiny corner of Russia, up in the very far reaches of Siberia. It's like, I never thought that of course, Chains on Fire would go that far, that quickly. I knew eventually we would conquer the entire world, but I didn't think, all of a sudden, hey, here's Siberia listening to Chains on Fire. So it's amazing that you can reach, pretty much literally the entire globe in a span of the afternoon, but at the same time, so can anyone else.
Right.
So you have to make sure that your music is polished, is the best out there, and you have to have a business plan that works in the new century, in the dawn of of this sort of a business model with music. So yeah, it can be difficult and challenging and incredibly rewarding. And I think as long as you're not stuck in that old mindset of like, I need an LP and I don't want anyone stealing my music because that's bad, then you'll be okay.
Right. So what's your feelings on, people illegally downloading your music?
Oh, legally download it as much as you want. Seriously, when our music, I think one of the biggest compliments that we ever got paid as a band is when I went to the Pirate Bay, like the #1 site for torrenting stuff, and and our music was up, and we did not upload it. Someone else took the time out of their day. They loved the album so much that they put the album up for people to share and to download and to listen to. That was a huge compliment, and I was like, I went on there and I'm like, dude, thank you so much for putting this up and sharing it, because nowadays the music is not the end product. The music is the promotion, and I like that. You have a couple of, a decade ago, you would have these artists, or maybe even a little more than a decade ago, 15 years ago, you'd have these artists that would, they put out a polished CD that was auto-tuned and quantized to hell, and it wasn't, for all intents and purposes, it wasn't exactly them playing it sometimes, and they'd be millionaires because, they'd be put through promotion and the CD sales would be through the roof, but they would never play. You'd never see them, worldwide tour, it's their second tour this year or something like that, because they didn't have to.
Right.
But now the tables have turned. The music is now what you use to get people to come out and see you live. And so, back in the day, the band had to be a working band to make any money. Had to go out, had to play live, had to actually be good live. Oh my God, that's a shocker, right? And now it's the same thing again, because you can get their music. I could download anyone's album right now in the span of 5 minutes.
Right.
Legally, illegally, doesn't matter. I have their music,
right.
And it's going to be cheap. But if I really enjoy this band, I want to go out and see them live.
Right.
And so they better deliver live, and they better be touring. They better be in my area, because otherwise I'm never going to be able to see them.
Right.
So.
Right. Now, what's your feeling on vinyl making a resurgence?
I think it's interesting. It's we haven't actually ever put anything out on vinyl, just because of the cost. It's cost prohibitive for us to do that.
Right.
And we don't have enough people right now, enough of our minions who I think would be actively interested. Maybe I'm mistaken on that. Who'd be interested in picking up something on vinyl, but I like it. I think it is a appropriate response to what we were talking about just previously. That music used to be a physical token. It used to have some sort of a physical artifact to it. The only way that if you wanted to go out and listen to the Lords of the Trident, if we were out in the 80s, the only way that you could do that is to go down to your local record store and pick up a physical copy and feel it in your hands.
Right.
And have it. And nowadays, that's not there anymore. And some people want to be able to recreate that experience of having that sort of an artifact of the band that they enjoy, something physical that they can touch and feel and put on their wall. And CDs don't feel quite as valid of a form as vinyl does.
Right.
And so I think a lot of people take that. And they say, and that's why vinyl's making a resurgence. It's not just because it's old and cool and because the hipsters love it and because, that kind of thing. But I think it's because, people want that sort of big, giant thing of like, this is the band that I like. Look at it. It is huge. It is 27 inches across, or how many, I don't know, whatever the biggest vinyl you can buy is. Look at what I have. So.
Right. Well, it's definitely enjoyable, at least for myself. Like, they put it now. Even though you could get the CD, you could get the album now on white vinyl, red vinyl. Ace Frehley released his with his guitar picks in them. So like it is something special, definitely for the fans.
Oh yeah, and if we ever press it, we'd have to do like blood red. I think obviously pressed in the blood of our dispatched foes. So
yeah. Like Kiss did. They put a little vial of their own blood in one of their whatever.
There you go. That's what we need to do.
Yeah. But, so tell me, what is 2015 looking for Lords of Trident? What's coming?
Well, obviously the big thing is our new CDs coming out Friday the 13th in February, so we're very, very excited about that. And the Friday the 13th in February is a sort of a special date for us, because that was the date in 2009 when we released our first album, Death or Sandwich, and we've been sold out of Death or Sandwich for quite some time. And there's a small record company in Ohio that has offered to reprint Death or Sandwich with brand new updated artwork, and we will be releasing that as well on Friday the 13th along with Frostburn. So we're very excited for that. And then we're planning on doing a series of little mini tours, 3, 4, 5 day kind of things, where we just kind of go out in one direction, see how far we can get before the van breaks down and dies, and we have to, sell all of our equipment to get home or something like that. That's essentially what we're planning on doing. We also have a bit of sad news. One of our guitarists, Kilius Maximus, he has decided that he, much like the Beatles, needs to go out and find himself. So he's actually, and I am not joking on this, he is moving to India for 6 months in August 2015. So we are currently on the lookout for a replacement for Kilius Maximus for those 6 months, and depending on where he decides, he might obtain total consciousness and just turn into a monk and live in the hills of the Himalayas. So we may be looking for a permanent replacement. We don't know.
Cool.
So there's a lot of interesting challenges and changes coming up for Lords of the Trident, but we will, fear not, those people listening out there. We will always be here, and having someone move to India for 6 months or forever, that won't slow us down.
Cool. Well, congratulations on Frostburns, and I can't wait for the CD, because I really enjoyed your music when I listened to it this morning, and really impressed me, especially your vocals, outstanding.
Oh, thank you.
So do you have anything to say to the fans out there before we conclude?
Well, I'd like to say, for anyone interested in, for any of you, unworthy, unwashed masses out there who have not heard of Lords of the Trident, obviously go to our website. It's just lordsofTheTrident.com. It is the most metal domain name on the face of the internet, and so I'd recommend that you put on a battle helmet before bringing it up, because we've had, the scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark where the faces melt off. We've had a few of those things happen, so just be careful. It could set your computer on fire, but the worthy minions out there and the worthy computers, they'll survive. So go there, pick up our music. You can listen to all of our albums on the site. You can buy a bunch of fantastic merch. Throw your $50, $100 gold bricks, firstborn children, just put them in the slot in the computer and send them right to us. We've got a bunch of brand new shirts coming out, and posters and all sorts of fun stuff. So check us out online. Of course, we've got a Facebook page. We've got the whole shebang. We're on YouTube. We've got a bunch of music videos on YouTube, so check those out. And as always, just like my barbarian grandma always said, you can't stay true if you're listening to Nickelback. So, throw away all of your CDs and replace them with Lords of the Trident CDs is basically what I'm saying.
Cool. Thanks very much, man.
Well, thank you very much.
No problem.
Yep.
Bye-bye.